Hi everyone, welcome to QAWithSJ channel. Today we are going to discuss software models. Okay, so these software models are very important. When we are delivering a product, a software product. So at the end of the day, our end goal is to deliver a product to the market, right? So in this process, the organizations follow different models. So out of these many models, these are very popular ones. Okay, so if we follow some process like this, they might call different name that is called waterfall. If you follow some other process, V model. If you follow some other process, then agile model. So ultimately, it's a process where we'll deliver a product to the end customer by following some techniques and process. Okay, so that's where software models exist. So there are three different models. Main one is waterfall model, and then V model and the agile model. Okay, let's discuss what are exactly these things. Okay, so what is a waterfall model? So basically, a waterfall model is a sequential software development model where it has multiple phases. Let's suppose phase one, phase two, phase three, phase four. Until unless phase one is completed, we don't go to the phase two. Until unless phase two is completed, then we don't go to phase three. So that's what the waterfall, the name itself, waterfall model, the drops, right? One by one, drops will fall into the on the ground, right? So that's what waterfall model. I will explain in detail also. Okay, the next one is V model. So here, what happens? Parallelly, the testing activities and the development activities will start parallelly. That's called V model. Okay. An agile model is an iterative software development model where software is developed and delivered in small increment called sprints. Like, let's suppose there is a product. Okay. So here what people will do, instead of developing a whole product at a one go, they will uh, prioritize the features, and they will start start development and testing and delivering a piece of priority functionalities. We'll discuss more. Okay, we'll get into that. So the first one is waterfall model. If you could see that, so all these phases, whatever you are seeing, all these six phases are common across the development model: requirement, analysis, design, code, testing, and maintenance. So what is this requirement? So we'll gather the requirement. Okay, then they will people will understand the analysis. So if you remember, requirement document analysis, we have discussed earlier video. Okay, so this will be created by the product owner mostly. Okay, so they will bring the requirements to you, and they will set up a call with the QA and development and scrum master. Then PO will start discussing the requirements. If you have any questions from the dev standpoint or QA standpoint, you can clarify your doubts in that call itself. Okay, now, so once the requirement analysis completed, then again development will do their analysis part, and then design. So this design part, again design document will comes into the picture, and environment setup, everything comes into the design setup. Like again, developers will create the design documents based on requirement analysis, and then developers will present this design document to the all the audience, like scrum master, entire development team, maybe product owners and vice president, some other you know point of contacts for the particular features, whoever it may be. So they will have a design documentation review. Once that is done, then developers will go into the coding part, implementation of the coding part, like whether it could be a back end or front end, including CI/CD, deployment and everything. Then testing people comes into the picture, where they will start writing the test cases from here at phase 5, at stage 5. They will start writing the test case documentation, they will start writing manual test cases and test strategy, and then they will start verifying the application functionalities manually, and then automation, and then deployment, and then maintenance. This is the end goal. Okay, but here the problem is, until unless first one is done, people doesn't go to the second one. Until unless second, they don't go third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. So here in this process, testing is comes into the picture at stage 5, which is later phases. Once all these four are done, then only testing comes into at 5. So what was the advantage and disadvantage of this? Because of that, the testing activity is done at the end of the model, so that people will identify bugs at the later phases. So that when bug identified, when a defect identified, if it is a critical or not a critical, whatever it may be, again developer has to put efforts to fix that, and the time is waste, and the cost is also waste, and the effort is also waste, right? And another thing is, if there are any requirements in between, they don't implement immediately, they don't adopt it until unless a particular feature, whatever they are working on, until unless it is completed. That's what the advantage and disadvantages in waterfall model. But it's easy to implement. Okay. The requirements of the research is minimal, and testing is done after each phase has been completed. I mean, at the end of the phases is completed, then only testing is occurring. Testing part is going to be happen, right? So testing is occurring in the last phase of this model. So that is the most disadvantage in waterfall model. Okay. So the next model is V model. Okay, here the why people call it a V model. The structure looks like a V shape. Okay, and this is keeping the disadvantages in whatever we have it in waterfall model, keeping that mind to enhance that, people come up with V model. Okay, ultimately there also in waterfall model or V model or agile model, ultimately will develop a product, will uh, implement the product and test the product and deploy the product and release it to the market. But the process we follow is different. That's where this model comes into the picture. Okay, so the V model. So here what will happen, here also the same, like requirements analysis, design, code, testing, maintenance. But if you could see requirements, specifications, design, low level design, coding, parallelly what is happening here? So whenever there is a requirement meeting has happened, so parallelly the testing team also involves here at the initial phase. From the day one, testing team also involves into this particular activities. They will start writing the test cases, I mean test strategy, and then test plan, and then test cases. Okay, once they reaches this coding phase, and then parallelly QA team will start executing the test cases, whatever they have written so far, like manual testing process, they are going to execute once this coding part is complete. But here what is happening, after one, two, three, four stages is completed, at the fifth stage, QA team comes into the picture. Then they start preparing the test strategy. Then they start preparing the test plan documentation with proper test cases and manual test cases. And then once the by this time also implementation is also completed, so that again they will start executing whatever the test cases documentation they have written. They will start execute the same test cases. But here they don't wait until the coding complete. So here they are waiting until coding is completed. But here they don't wait until the coding is completed to write the test strategy, test plan documentation, and all of that. They will start parallelly here. You might think this is a small thing to write a test strategy, test plan, and test cases, but not at all small thing. It requires a lot of effort, because QA team has to understand the analysis documentation, and so here they are started understanding. They started writing at stage 5. They have to understand the documentation. They have to write the test strategy. They have to write the test plan, and again, like developers, testing team also have schedule a meeting with all the stakeholders, and then they will start presenting it to the stakeholders. They test strategy and test plan. Again, people will give their feedbacks and inputs to what needs to be added, what needs to be tested, not need to be tested. So we have to get the approval for the test strategy and test documentation. So all these things is happening here at stage 5. But here parallelly they start preparing test strategy, test plan, and they will get it reviewed by all the stakeholders. By the time coding is complete, they can they're done with all this documentation process, they can start directly executing the test cases. But here at stage 5, they will start preparing the test strategy, test plan, and then they will start manual test case execution. Okay, so that is the benefit we'll get it out of what we from V model from other than waterfall models. Okay, now the advantage is like it is easy to use since testing activities like planning, test, designing, that everything is done before the coding. Okay, so this model again it saves some time because right after the coding, the people will start executing the test cases, right? So they a little bit early people might find the bugs, but here after stage 4, they will start writing the documentation, then they will start executing the test cases. So it will take some time, right? But in this case, right after the coding, people will start executing whatever the test case they've written. It could be any environments. Okay, so that defects are mostly found at an early stage. So that when we found the defects at early stage, so development team also have ample of time to fix that. Okay, so everything has advantage and disadvantage in the universe. So like this also have some disadvantage, like some rigid model. The software is developed during the implementation phase so early, so some requirements might miss, right? Some requirements might not be clear, right? If there are any changes in midway. So let's suppose people comes to the code, developers complete the coding, but again there is a small requirement change. uh, let's suppose after fourth stage, then what QA team has to do, again they have to update their test strategy, test plan documentation, right? So that is some disadvantages. Okay, so the next model is Agile model. Okay, so the Agile model, here also the process is same, like gathering the requirement analysis, and then design, and then develop code and testing. Okay, but this model is also called as iterative and incremental model. So instead of developing a entire product at once, what in this model, product owner, scrum master, and everyone will come together along with the developers and QA team. They will prioritize the features. Let's suppose there are 5 features. Okay, now out of these 5 features, the product owner, scrum master, along with the developers and QA team, they will discuss and they will prioritize the functionality, which functionality we have supposed to, or which feature we are supposed to develop first as a priority wise. Then they will pick up the priority based feature. Then they will start implementing. Again, it has some fixed timelines. So here people will follow sprint. Okay, usually a sprint duration might 1 week, 2 week, 3 weeks, and 4 weeks. Okay, then during mostly it would be 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. 1 week also few organizations will follow, but it is very less time. Okay, and in this 1 week sprint, QA people is the one has to put a lot of efforts, because during 1 week how can we test the sprint items, right? So yeah, so that keep in mind. And 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and 4 weeks is good. Okay, again it depends on the organization. So what they will do, let's suppose out of 5 priority wise features, first they will pick it up, the first one, and then let's suppose if it is a 2 weeks sprint, in this 2 week sprint, okay, whoever the developers are bandwidth, they will start assigning the tasks and they will start implementing their particular future. Accordingly, QA team also few tasks will be created to the QA team. Okay, and then they will start working on sprint test strategy, test plan documentations, and manual test creations. So parallel here also parallel will happen. Okay, another benefit here, let's suppose there is some future newly got added, there is some requirement change. So what happens here in here in V model and waterfall model, if something is changed, again they are supposed to come from the first, until it is this done, they don't come back. Here also the same. But here, when it comes to Agile model, if something the requirement change, so immediately developers and scrummers have a call, and They will try to adapt the changes accordingly. They will modify. Okay, so that's what the loop right here. So agile, so they will bend to the requirements change, and then change the modify the code accordingly. Testers also involves, and they also do change the test strategy, test plans accordingly in between the sprints according to the requirements, specifications and needs. Then they will start implementing it. So here test strategy, test plan also parallelly starts along with the actual requirement analysis, design, documentation. But here they will prioritize the features. They will take assign the tasks. So these tasks will be created in some of the tools like Azure, Jira, right? So they will create some task and assign it to developers and QA people. They will start working on this 2 week sprint, and once the task is assigned, it's individual responsibility to complete the particular tasks. If there are any implements, however, they do have daily scrum meeting here. Okay, it would be a 15 to 30 minutes call. So in this call, everyone is accountable to discuss what they did yesterday, what they are going to do today, or any implements or any blockers due to some other team's dependency, or some environmental issues, or some access issues. So everything will be discussed here, and the Scrum Master is also part of this particular call. So that if anything needed from the Scrum Master side, again Scrum Master will also take care of it. Even Product Owner also will join this call. Okay. So like this, priority wise, they will pick up the task in between. If there any change, they will adapt, and again they will implement, deploy, and QA also will involve from the day one. Again they will even QA also change their documentation accordingly to the requirements new change. Okay, so this is what about Agile. I hope you are clear with these software models like Waterfall, V model, and Agile model. So here also advantages, rapid requirement changes might happen. So accordingly, people will adopt the changes so that we can deliver the product quickly, and then uh, we can give you a quality product also. But there is a disadvantages again, due to frequent requirement changes. Some complexity will be there. There's few efforts will be there. Requires a lot of efforts also. Okay, so sometimes requirements also might not clear. Again, we have to change the requirements. Again, QA also need to do some changes. So those are some disadvantages. Okay, so again, I'm summarizing. So we have three models: Waterfall, V model, Agile model. So in all these three models, requirement analysis and design, implement, code, and then testing is common. But in Waterfall model, testing is going to be conduct at the after coding stage is going to complete. Once that is complete, then QA people comes into the picture. Then they will start writing test strategy, test plan, and then execution of the test cases. But here in V model, at the initial phase only, QA people comes into the picture. Parallel, they will start write test strategy, test plan, and all of that. By that time code is complete, directly they will start executing the tests here. But here, by the time coding is complete, they will start preparing test strategy. But here they will try directly execute the test cases. Okay, now in Agile model, it divides into sprints. They will take high priority features as a first one, and then start implementing during within span of sprints. And if there are any changes in between, they will incorporate the changes, and accordingly they modify design document and the strategy documentation, code also, implementation also they will change, and then they will uh, develop and deploy and test, and then deploy to the markets. That's how it will be future wise. Agile models will work in the organizations. Okay, I hope you are clear with these models. I hope you understand. Thank you for watching.